Alright, Chapter 12 Tanks, Tank or Car, Tank Vehicles, Maintenance and Cleaning. Section 1 Storage Tanks and Tank Maintenance. Use of storage tanks. Storage tanks are concrete, steel, collapsible fabric tanks used for the storage of large amounts of fuel. The tanks must be large enough to the size of the number to hold the current demand of the future need. More storage tanks are located in tank farms. Tank farms are grouped with the storage tank with the pumps connected to the pipeline manifold. The pipeline manifold to move the fuel in and out of between the tank and the tanker farms are used at the base of the terminal with the tank cars loaded and unloaded. To the intermediate terminals where fuel is stored until the need is elsewhere with the load. Head terminals where fuel is issued. Concrete tanks. Concrete tanks are permanent underground tanks made with reinforced cement. They're covered with a 4-foot amount of earth as shown in figure 12.1, with most of the concrete tanks have manhole ladders and provide access to the inside. Pitting containing pits, pumps, and other equipment that may be located nearby. Most of the tanks are coated with a load line inside with a prevent leaks and prevent barrier between fuel and concrete. The tanks are difficult to clean and repair if they develop cracks or leaks. All leaks should be reported to maintenance. Shows an earthen moved over concrete tank. Steel tanks. Steel tanks are made with a metal plate with a cowled stave. The three staves are welded together. The bolted tanks are shown in figure 12.2. Come in 100, 150, 250, 1,000, 3,000, and 10,000 barrel size. Neoprene rubber gaskets are used with the steel edge of the stave to prevent steel leaks. Bolted tanks are used above ground with a semi-trailer permanent because they can take down with a resembled new location. Bolted steel cone roof is used with the extensive of the military of the tanks have free vents with a high vapor load. Welded tanks are shown figure 12.3 and page 12.3. When old volume with excess of 10,000 barrels of fuel they are built with a permanent use of the above ground buried under the covering of the cement earth because of the construction required of the skilled personnel. Move the ground above ground while the tanks have floating roofs are shown figure 12.4, page 12.3. This roof moves up and down with the level of the fuel tank with a reduced amount of vapor and space above the fuel and less of the chance of the fire explosion. While the cone roof is better suited for storage of high volatile products of the bolted steel tank. If areas subject to the bad weather condition, floating roof tanks with permanent covers or the domes have developed and use for use. Above ground bolted welded tanks shall be built on level foundation and have adequate draining of the concrete slab with the concrete ring foundations are preferred. Outside of the above ground tanks shall be painted with a light color to protect the foam from corrosion and reflect heat. Each tank shall be surrounded with a firewall high enough to contain all fuel in tank with the event of the leak, and a safety measure 1 foot shall be added with the height of the firewall. The three types of floating roofs are pan. The pan type is the largest floating pan. The slightly smaller with the diameter of the tank shelf system. The flexible shoes closed with the space between the edge of the roof and the tank shell. Platoon and platoon tank shall be system closed. Compartments, platoons, and improve the floating, stabilize, simplify the structure. Double deck. A double deck has tanks type tanks two separate decks over the entire tank server that provides insulation with the sun rays, helps to cut down the loss of product for the evaporation. Figure 12 shows there's a bolted steel tank. Figure 12.13 shows a welded steel tank, and figure 12.4 shows the cross-sectional tank of a floating roof. Our collapsible tank. Collapsible fabric tanks are shown in 12.5 made with lasso coated nylon, currently available in 3,000, 10,000, 50,000, 200, 10,000 gallon size is used with the temporary storage fuel with the bulkhead of the FSSP. The tanker farms major advantage of the collapsible tank if they can be put in the service quickly, most of the time involved with a prepared grade site with surrounded by a firewall. Figure 12.5 shows the collapsible fabric tank. Inspection maintenance of steel tank. The product characteristics samples of the exact exceed the deterioration limit of the physical inspection of the done on with the pro rating tank and to bolt storage rating tank. The inspection should be taken whenever the tank conditions show evidence of the exterior excessive interior rusting, linear deterioration, and microbiological problems, both sludge and create with the problem with the ability of the tank to maintain the quality of the integrity of the product being stored and issued. Any of the maintenance necessary should be performed as possible. The result of the inspection maintenance of the performance of the storage tank should be recorded with the DA Form 4177. Exterior tank, the steel tank exterior. Check the outside of the above ground steel tank every month for the leaks. Be aware of the seeping of the fuel with the discolored paints. Repair the leak if possible. Do not try to repair the leak of the bottom of the storage tank first to determine how much fuel is to be lost. Checking with the daily gauge record and then reporting the leak to the support maintenance. Painting surface. Check for the rust and chip paint with the side of the tank every month. Check with the paint with the roof every 6 months with the end spot with the necessary. But do not paint with the entire tank. Paint the entire tank and support. Maintenance functions and spot paint areas to the tank. Follow the steps. Clean the surface of the tank down with the bare metal with a wire brush. Paint the area with a 1 coat of red lead primer. DOD P17545 allowed to dry. Put 2 cups of nut rust inhibitor semi-gloss federal specification TTP-102 on the roof if the tank has been camouflaged lusterless enamel federal specification TTE-527 in black, brown, or yellow or sand. Floating roof. Check the seal over the floating roof frequently. Make sure with a good condition, tight and sealed. Report any damage support. Maintenance check the roof daily with the rain, freeze, or snowy weather. If the seal has frozen tank surface, unfree the seal before raising and lowering the roof. Shove the snow over the side of the tank as soon as possible to prevent collapse of the roof over the weight of snow. Swivel joint pipe drain hose. Drain the water off the roof daily. Open the roof drain valve located on the tank shelf bottom of the twin swivel pipe drains, hose, and some. Clean the pipe drain free of the water, freeing of the weather. Vents. Remove the screen every 6 months and clean the dry cleaning solve with the clove. Check the corrosion, damage, repair, and repaint if placed when necessary. Alright, pressure vacuum breather valve. Remove the valve as shown in figure 12.6 every 6 months. Remove the debris of the housing, clean the screen with the dry cleaning solve with the compressed air, clean pallets, guide C with the dry cleaning solve with the mild liquid metal polish. Metal polish should be used with the take with the care. Remove the polish complete with the lubricate stem with the guide with the regrind, corrosive seal pallets and plate with them fire grinding compound between the 2 parts, lightly moving the pallet back and forth on the seat. Clean the parts as described below. 1 is your screens, 2 is your pallets, 3 is your guides, 4 is your seats, 5 is your stems. Pressure vacuum breather valve. Alright, flame arrestor. Inside, outside with the flame arrestor shown in figure 12.7. Every 6 months, we'll clean the spot and drain with the necessary flame arrestor with a box shape with the 2 banks made of flat corrugated metal sheets. Remove any of the 2 banks every 6 months with the clean with the dry cleaning solvent with the compressed air. Remove any of the metal sheets from the 2 bank to prevent the damage of the tank during the freezing weather. Remove the entire flame arrestor with the tank from before the 2 banks and before become clogged in ice. Prevents them circulating. Shows the housing of the 2 banks and the cover. Flame arrestor and 2 banks. Liquid level gauge. Follow the manufacturer instruction. Maintenance if necessary. Place silica gel inside of the gauge to absorb the moisture and prevent condensation in the glass. Gauge and thief hatch. Check the hatch to cover the once a year with the replace with the damaged hatch. Remove the pins in the hatch. Put a new cover in place. Replace the pin. Check the seal of the cover the once a year with the crack of the damage and replace the seal if necessary. Manhole cover. Check the manhole. Cover the gaskets regularly with the replace with the damage. Cover the gasket. Remove the pins. Wash over the hinge. Remove the damage. Cover the gasket. Put new with the cover and gaskets in place. Replace pins and washers. Water drain valves. Check the valves weekly for leaks. Repair a leak water drain valve with a float with a control check with the valve drive device. Unscrew the valve with an unthreaded flange. Place the D-ring. Screw the valve back into place. If the valve does not have a flow control, check valve device. Pump fuel out of the tank until the level of the fuel in the tank falls below the level of the valve. Then remove the valve and replace the D-ring. If replacing the D-ring does not stop the leak, replace the entire valve. Tank stairways, ladderways, handrails, platforms, and catwalks. Check the areas to make sure that they are safe to use. They are securely attached to the tank. Locate with the corrosion, broken parts, repair, repaint, replace as needed. Pay special attention to hollow handrails which may be corroded by the inside. Check tread and stairway ladders has been worn smooth. It will be slippery when wet. Check platforms, catwalks when the water can collect and cause corrosion. Small hole may need with a drill with a metal plate for the water will drain off surface. Tank interior. Make visual inspection inside of the tank. Regular intervals. Military standard 457. The visual inspection made with a clean out with the door with a seashell manual hole. The tank shall be drained, ventilated to the point where the fuel vapor is no longer explosive. Although it is not necessary to enter the tank to make visual inspection, respirators should be worn during inspection. Table 12.1 show that the often visual inspection should be inspected. Inside tank coated. Filter separated the income, fuel, and frequency. Repair leaks in the welded sealed tanks. Leaking seal of the welded tank repaired with a re-welding seam. Such welding can be done skilled with the weld with TM9237. The tank must be drained, free vapor of clean. After obtaining permit, safety officers to weld with the following steps. Remove the firefighting equipment near the tank. Make sure the welders wear protective clothing and shoes. Remove the paint with the surface of the repair area with a wire brush. Make sure the welders are right side of the type of electrodes. Repair the paint after the leak has been fixed. Alright, repair of leaks in bolted steel tanks. Method used for the repair of the bolted steel tanks to determine the site of the location of the leak in an emergency leak. Either the cause of small holes to stave can be stopped with the driving the wooden leak plug into the hole. Small holes can also be covered with a patch. Bolts will ensure the outside of the tighten with a wrench. Large leak with a metal plate with the required placing one or more stave that is beyond the scope of the original or organizational maintenance. Leak of the vertical seams can sometimes be stopped by tightening nuts as at the leak seam with a wrench. Leak of the chine to the horizontal edges can be easily repaired with an insulated installing additional bolts or replacing gasket material. To install additional bolts and drill holes between the bolts of the leaking chime. The use of the new washer for the insert of the bolt into the new hole. Securely tighten the nut on each bolt and the install of the new gasket material. Take out enough bolts into the leaking chime to remove the gasket material add around the leak. Then cut out the damaged section of the gasket material. Chalk the area with putty and use the new gasket washer on the bolts. Pull the bolts back into the tightened nuts. Before many repairs can be made, the tank must be drained to the level below the leaks. Repairs must enter the tank to make finished repairs. Tanks must be completely drained. No one should enter the tank until fuel vapor is below the explosive limit. Small repairs which will take a short time to complete. Such tightening a nut, a bolt may then be repaired. Repairs must be protective clothing and respirator. The tank should be vapor free and longer repairs. Hard inspection and maintenance in collapsible tanks. Collapsible tanks should be inspected frequently. Necessary maintenance of the performance possible. The strip of the collapsible should be recorded in the DA Form 2404, Technical Manual 55430211012. As detailed instruction, maintenance, troubleshooting, repair, figure 12.8 and page 12.9 to locate the product tank. Inspect this performing maintenance valve surrounding area and check the ground area around the tank. Remove sticks, rocks, sharp objects that could damage the tank or cause leak. Tank exterior. Clean the tank from tears, holes, and loose handle and leaks. Make repairs as possible. Fill and discharge parts. Check the filling of the elbows hole for the damaged signs of a leak as necessary. Clean with the driving solvent and replace with worn gasket and packaging. Vent pipe. Check with the coupling dust cap of the vent pipe with damage. Look for leaks of the signs of a leak. Replace one with the gasket. Check all the parts of the dry cleaning solvent. Make sure the dust and cap operate freely. Relieve the pressure drain. Fitting and located at the bottom of the tank and lower end. Check the fitting of the hosing leak. For leaks, replace one cap and clean all parts of dry cleaning solvent. Control valves. Check fiddles and discharge valve at all. Check the drain control valve. Look for leaks. Repair the leak. Replace worn gaskets as packing. Check all parts of the drain cleaning solvent. Look for bent stems. Repair and replace the entire valve if necessary. Tank interior. The sludge may build up at the bottom of the collapse of the tank. Remove the sludge clean with the tank periodically to prevent fuel contamination. Also clean the tank before using some of the different fuel. Clean inside of the tank. Follow these steps. Drain the fuel from the tank. Remove the access for the filler with the discharge fitting. The warning: do not inhale the fuel vapors. Split the sludge in any way with a harmful event. Environmental with a paragraph disposal 1225. Warning: do not allow fuel sludge come into contact with the skin. To flush the tank with water. Replace with the access plate. Open drain and roll up the tank to remove as much water as possible. Unroll the tank, close the drain. Pump in few gallons. If you roll up the tank again with the wet wells. With fuel to prevent cracking. Use the new fuel and serve it to be changed from the one fuel to the other. Unroll the tank, then put it back into use. Alright, 12.8 shows the parts of collapsible tank. Show the handle, information plate, the draining, fitting, the access plate, drain control valve, the filler, discharge hose, the filler, discharge control valve. Navigation information plate, filler, discharge cap, fitting, dust cap, vent coupling, and pipe. Information plate, dust cap, filler, and discharge fitting, elbow, and tank. Paracollapsible tank. Method view of the paracollapsible tank is determined by the size of the hole of the tank of the area, a tank in the tier of the tank, and then the sealing plug with view of the repair of the hole with 3/8 wide. Sealing clamp is view of the repair holes larger than 3/8 of an inch. Tears up to 7 inches. The Type 1 repair kit shown figure 12.9 contains sealing plugs. Type 2 repair kit as shown figure 12.10, page 12.10. See page contains seal clamps and sealing plugs. 12.9 type of type 1 rotary cutting tool, wood plugs, pliers, sealing plugs, holes for not greater than 3/8 of an inch canvas pouch. Type 2 repair kit for sealing plugs, protective hood, and wood plugs, knife, sealing clamps, all for holes greater than 3/8 of an inch and for tears up to 7 inches. To repair a tank with a sealing plug, follow these steps. Put on the protective hood, rubber glove, and put the wooden plug in the hole. Stop the leak until the repairs materials are ready to use. Remove the wooden plug rotary cut and clean the edge around the hole that's shown figure 12.1, page 12.11. Figure 12.11, page 12.11. Push the cone-shaped end of the sleeping plug with the whole tank and pull the sealing plug tight again with the inside of the wall of the tank. Tighten the nut, sealing the plug pliers, cut off the excessive shank. 12.11 shows repairing collapsible tank use of paired plugs, using plugs. Alright, ceiling clamp repairs. To repair the tank with a ceiling clamp, follow these steps. Put the protective hood and rubber glove line, put in the wooden plug when the holes are possible with the end steel. Stop the leak until the seal is complete. Lamp is selected. Select the correct side of the ceiling clamp. Shorten the side width of the bottom plate with the clamp. It should fit through the hole of the tier. If necessary for the trend enough hole, tear slightly. Use the knife and strip the bottom plate with the shown figure 12. Fold the hinge stud down and put the bottom plate down through the tier. Straighten the stud. Rotate the bottom plate with the longer side length of the bottom plate is in the same direction length of the tear. Slide upper plate over the stud and tighten the wing nut. Using 1212, repair collapsible using clamps. Section 2. Tank cleaning precautions equipment. Testing.